Welcome back, Camden Catholic. We're gonna kind of. I know I can't believe it either. I'm actually flipping something after a while. I apologize about that. As it is, the season does kind of tend to take over your life a little bit, but no excuse. So let's keep going. So as we talked about today in class, interior explorers were mostly missionaries. Their first stop is going to be Africa. They're going towards the interior. When the missionaries get there, they discover all of these goods that they didn't even know were there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, something we didn't harp on particularly, though, is how negative of an impact paternalism had on African cultures, right? So we talked about the destruction of traditions today, and we talked about the Maasai warriors and how we're just now starting to rediscover a lot of these things. So, also, paternalism can lead to a lot of racism, as well as leading to a lot of subjugation from the Europeans as well. So, like I said, Kipling said it when he said the white man's burden, right? Now, and how negative of an outlook that is on the Africans. That's ridiculous. So there's going to be a massive scramble for colonies in Africa. Now, by the early 1900s, France, Britain, and Germany all had colonies established in Africa. Now, the Berlin Conference is actually going to be a meeting set up to split the territory in Africa up. But wait a minute. Why are we talking about splitting up Africa in Germany? This is another thing of how unfair this was. The Berlin Conference divided territory amongst the Europeans in Africa, and none of the Africans were even invited to come. So, by 1904, almost the entire continent of Africa was owned by Europeans. Now, the only two places that were able to stay independent was Ethiopia and Liberia, and the reason why Liberia was allowed to stay independent is because Liberia was started by former slaves of the United States. Now, this is a massive negative of imperialism. Many African nations are going to refuse. This is going to make Europeans use force, and they're going to end up killing and killed many natives. Natives were forced to work for almost nothing, mainly because the monetary system set up in Europe didn't benefit the Africans at all. So, also, land was taken from native tribes that they had lived on for over 1,000 years, and religion and social structures are going to fall apart. Remember, the Europeans began to suppress those traditional African customs and cultures. A backlash, though, is Ethiopia is going to refuse to be conquered, and they're going to remain independent. Europeans are also going to work, though, to educate Africans, and this is going to cause many of them to study, pick up the nationalism movement, and many educated elite Africans would actually push back for their independence later on. So, this is supposed to be a short flip. I mainly just wanted to get over the Berlin Conference, and then we can get into how imperialism is going to grow into Muslim-controlled areas tomorrow. Okay, so I look forward to seeing y'all then. Y'all's groups are going to imperialize a part of Africa tomorrow. So I'll see y'all then. Have a great evening.